Well, hi there, everybody. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Cameron. I'll just start off with the basics. I live in Montgomery, Texas. It's a pretty small town. It's about 25 minutes from Houston, which I'm probably sure you know where that is. Um, I personally like it out here during the day because we live on a lake called Lake Conroe, and there's always stuff to do on it during the day, but the nightlife here sucks. All the rednecks and hicks hang out at Walmart. Yeah, the Walmart parking lot. So that's the only thing I don't like about it. I always go to Houston. What? Yeah. So I'm making this video to as a to share my coming out experience with everybody, especially on gayteenforums.net because it's really too long to type up, and so yeah. All right. Well, it started probably 2.5 years ago. Oh, I'm 17 now, by the way. So when I was probably like 14 and a half, around then, um, I first came out to a couple of my friends, and everything was fine, no big deal. Well, like when it started getting hard was when I came out to my sister. She has a gay best friend, so I thought it would be okay, but it was still very hard for me, and it took me a long time to build up the courage to do it. And I finally sent it in a text message to her, and I actually went out on my bike and rode around the neighborhood, and she texted me and asked me where I was. And it was after we got in a fight about something, and I don't remember what it was, but it was something like that. And I just texted her right then and flat out told her, and as soon, like, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes after I sent the text, after, freaking out for 5 minutes, she replied and just said, "Come home." That's all she said, so I was nervous as hell as to what was going through her mind and what her intentions were, so I came home, I walked in the door, and she was talking to her friend on the phone when I came in, and I was just like, okay, is this not a big deal? And like 5 minutes after she got off the phone, she just looked at me and was like, "So you're really gay?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Yes." And she's like, "All right." And that was the end of it. Then at least it was. And then, so, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks passed, and like, I don't know, it started being really weird because she has a gay best friend, right? And we would always hang out together. And then she like the three of us would hang out. She's 19, by the way, now, so 2 year difference. And she didn't want me to hang out with them anymore, like with them together, which I thought was kind of awkward. So I don't know. And then she started acting really weird, and you know, just like I could tell she was having problems with it. So I finally asked her about it, and she said that she did have a problem with it. And I didn't understand that because she has a gay best friend, but she can't accept her own brother. And to this date, she still cannot deal with me being gay. But I don't know, maybe 6 months passed, and everything was just, it was fine. I mean, I wish it was better, but it, I mean, that's just the way it was. And so after 6 months, it started getting really weird, and like, I remember we got mad at each other for something, and she threatened to tell my parents. And that freaked me out, and that pissed me off beyond belief. And so I wanted to tell my parents quick so she could stop holding that over my damn head because it was really killing me. Well, my dad grew up in a Catholic family and has been Catholic his whole life, and he's probably the most closed-minded person I've ever met. So that's not very easy. And then my mom, she has this perfect dream for me. I'm going to grow up, marry a beautiful wife, have kids, etc., etc. So that's not gonna be easy there for her. But I don't know. It was probably a couple weeks after my sister threatened to out me to my parents that I got in trouble for talking back to my parents, and they ended up taking my phone. And I just come out to one of my friends, when they took my phone, and my dad, before he could go through my text messages, I started screaming, and I was making like a big fit, trying to get my phone back for one, and he wanted to give it back, and then I was like, well then, you know what, Dad, I need to talk to you. So I sat in the kitchen with him for God knows how long, probably an hour or two, and before I could actually come out to him, I was, crying, bawling my eyes out, and he was asking me what's wrong, and I finally gained the courage to say, Dad, you'll love me no matter what, right? And he said yes, and all the normal stuff. And well, I finally told him, I was like, Dad, I'm gay, and he's asked me if I was sure, and I said yes, and he was crying, and he's told me he doesn't understand, but he's willing to try to understand, and that was a better start than what I had originally thought would happen. So I was actually kind of happy about that. But then he told me I needed to tell my mom, which I did, and she was in the other room. God knows what was going through her head because she had no clue what the hell was going on. So we walked in there, and my dad told my mom that I have something to tell her. So she sat on the couch and, got up, and she was interested, and I was like, Mom, I'm gay. And just the look on her face, like, 2 years ago, I can still remember it. It was not a pretty look. She was distraught. I mean, she could not take it, and it hurt me. My dad actually got pissed off at her because she didn't know what to say, and she was angry, and my dad told her to take her finger out of her ass and say something, and that kind of made me laugh, but, so that wasn't too good. Well, my dad was on my side that night, and, everything was going fine. Well, the next morning, I get up, and turns out my dad went out of town, unexpectedly, for a couple days, and then my mom wasn't really talking to me. And my sister was pissed off at me because I started this whole drama in our family, so I was kind of, helpless when it comes to the family part, so those 3 days I stayed with my friends. And then finally I came back home when my dad came home, thinking, he would be there for me. Turns out it was the opposite. Turns out I guess he thought about it and realized that, or didn't realize, but came to the conclusion that it wasn't okay and that no son of his was going to be gay. So when he came back, he took my phone, my computer. I didn't have a car then, so he couldn't take my car. And he took my freedom. I was grounded for being gay, for something I can't control. It's like being grounded for being black. I mean, ugh. So after that, oh, and yeah, sorry, they also decided to send me to a biblical counselor, which was not good. I went to a biblical counselor for 3 months, I think it was, and it they began to brainwash me, and then I talked to one of my gay friends, and he got my head back on straight, and I realized that, I am who I am, I'm not changing, this is me, I'm sorry if that's not what my parents want me to be, but I needed to get out of this biblical counselor, so I had to fake straight, and after like two more months, after, I think I was in the biblical counselor for 4 months total, so somewhere in the middle, then I began faking straight, and I even got a girlfriend. And I finally got out of there, and I had, to still fake straight around my parents and everything, which I hated, but I'd rather that and have my phone, computer, and my freedom than not. Well, 6 months after that, when I was probably 15 and a half, maybe, I don't know, it was sometime by near my birthday, around 16. They found me talking to a guy, a week's worth of text, and we had been texting nonstop. Not good. And